This will be suspended up near the roof of the church, and the lines will come down, and then at the bottom of each one there will be salt crystals, and that salt crystals will appear in a ring or a silhouette that represent the body of Christ in the act of stumbling. Yeah, pretty quickly I went to the idea of Christ's physical stumbling or falling as a metaphor, less the physical one and more a symbol for his an existential kind of tripping. Like, I kind of imagine Christ dealing with this fibrillating self-belief around being divine or human, and that moment of fall where I guess he has felt convicted to go through with this, the most harrowing end result, the penultimate kind of thing of all of that he's been carrying on about for all this time. I just wondered about that little trip, you know, that little, of course it was a physical thing, but I wonder how much it was a moment of failure of belief or doubt. And I guess I am intrigued about that as it relates to any of our best intentions or most sincere beliefs. I was thinking about the cross and how often in the text cross and tree are interposed with each other. Often in old hymns they talk about Christ on that wretched tree and things like that, which seemed a really interesting. It's a nature reference. It's one that takes it away from the deliberation of human hands creating a piece of grotesque furniture to torture someone on, and it somehow takes it back to some natural reference, which seemed really odd. And then the references of Christ and the fig tree. There are all these cross references that I found really interesting. So in fact, having a tree that's an ostensibly uprooted dead tree seemed to have some resonances with our time, where the natural environment seems at least under threat, and dead trees are increasingly becoming symbols of that, that human threat. I've been doing a fair bit of support around protest for against the government's policy around asylum seekers. That's had me think about the inherent worth of human beings. The salt in this thing is a reference as well that kind of came out of that biblical in Matthew about the salt of the earth and when something loses its saltiness. And I wonder about that moment when Christ was stumbling, if in fact he wondered if in fact his saltiness was, I think the reference is that you scatter it, you throw it out on the street, and there's almost like something like that falling. The salt of the earth is some kind of reference to an inherent value that's kind of irreducible across human beings, I would imagine, regardless of, as is biblical, gender, race, creed, etc. And we're part of a society which is actively choosing to maintain that tenet within our country and making concentration camps full of torture.